Thanks for listening to our lessons from daily Bible reading. The lesson today is be a golden rule leader. You ever play follow the leader? I can remember doing it so often as kids. And one of the things that's inherent in that game, if you're the leader, you have to have people follow something that you yourself do. You want them to realize that you can do that and encourage them to do it. You know, Yesterday in our reading, we read about Rehoboam. He was to be a leader, but he failed. Why? Well, in 1 Kings 12 and verse 7, we find that he had been given the advice of older men: make the burden light, be a servant unto them. They said, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them and answer them and speak good words to them, they will be thy servants forever. In other words, you be what you want them to be. Well, that's pretty simple, isn't it? But division came, disaster came, because Rehoboam failed. He listened to others, not so wise, who said, your father placed a burden on them, you make it more. You make it heavier upon them. If only he had been a golden rule leader. Think of what could have been accomplished. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, in Matthew, the 7th chapter, and verse 12, the golden rule, as it's oftentimes called, all things whatsoever you would that men should do unto you, do ye even also to them. This is the law and the prophets. In other words, God's word has always said that. Be the type of person you want others to be. Act like you want others to act. Think of what it would be like in the home. How many people are called to be leaders in the home? Everybody. Whether you be the parent, whether you be the spouse, whether you be the child, it doesn't matter. You live a life that is like you want others to live. You look in society, well, they do this bad. They're terrible. Well, what about me? What am I doing? How am I acting? What right do I have to react to that in a bad way and become what I despise? Same thing in the church. Well, somebody in the church, they didn't treat me right. They said this, they said that. Well, what did you do? Well, I can't control what everybody else does, but I can be an example to encourage them to be what and who they should be. Did you ever think about Jesus? Jesus in Acts the 10th chapter is described as one who went about doing good. He came to show us an example. In the book of 1 Peter, the 2nd chapter and verse 21, Christ suffered for us, leaving us an example that we should follow in his steps. We read it from the Hebrew writer. He was tempted in all ways like as we, yet without sin. You see, I need to be the type of person who is understanding of what others are going through, and I need to live the type of life that I want them to live. No matter what the world throws at us roundabout, we don't change. We be who we should, when we should, and why we should. We do it to the glory of God and striving to make ourselves an example for others to follow. It's what Paul did. 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, and verse 1, he said, be followers of me. Why? Because I'm a follower of Christ. You see that letting your light shine? I'm being who I want them to be. I'm walking in the light. I want them there with me because that's where God is. I pray that each of us determines to be leaders. God expects it of us. But I pray that we determine to be golden rule leaders. Live the way we want others to follow. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Thank you again for joining us in this Bible study. We remind you, if you'd like to follow along in our daily Bible reading, the link below in the description of this video will give you the PDF so you can read right along with us. If you have any other questions or if you'd like information on a Bible study, contact us with the information provided on the screen before you.